Greetings, Earthlings. Brannon here at Brannon Sax. Some of you may recognize me from any of the various bands I play with around the Triangle area in North Carolina. I'm beginning an online video series about music performance with some tips and suggestions for how to get the most out of your playing. Hopefully, this will become an ongoing weekly series, so look out for new videos in the weeks to come. Today, I would like to talk to you about the 7 stages of a good practice routine. This process should be good for any instrument, particularly wind instruments like flute, clarinet, saxophone, trumpet, trombone, tuba, etc., but could be applied to any instrument like guitars and drums, and any style of music that you're playing. Let's say you have a limited amount of time to practice and you want to be as efficient as possible. Here's what I would recommend. First, stretch. Take about 2 to 5 minutes to really stretch. Playing an instrument is a physical activity. Most of us, including myself, ignore this step. I recommend stretching your arms, your hands, your neck, and face before addressing the instrument. Number 2, warm up. Take about 2 to 5 minutes and do long tones, especially for wind instrument players. Lower, in my opinion, is better. Find a pattern of chromatic, diatonic, or step and return that works for you, that really moves you to the lower end of your instrument, or the lower end of your range if you play a ranged instrument. Number 3, scales. This should be a pretty big focus of your practice time. Spend about 5 to 10 minutes on whatever scales that you're working on. Concentrate on a few scales. You don't have to play all 12 majors or all 12 minors or whatever patterns you're working on, but focus on 3 or 4, okay? Focus on getting the scale correct first, then increase the tempo gradually. Number 4, technique study, okay? This is where you're going to work on your fingers or your articulations or your rhythm exercises or your vibrato, especially if you're a wind player, okay? Take about 5 to 10 minutes and really focus on your technique. Number 5, sight reading. This is something that really requires practice. You can't just sight reading. Spend about 3 to 5 minutes on a short piece that exercises your sight reading. Pay attention to Brannon's 7 steps of sight reading, which we will get to in the next video. Number 6, repertoire. Again, one of the bulkier pieces of your practice routine. Spend about 10 to 20 minutes on whatever it is that you're working on, whether it's a piece of music for school or a piece of music for a band or a piece of music for a solo performance, whatever it is that you're working on, jazz, classical, rock and roll, whatever style, whatever it is that you're doing. Isolate and repeat any tricky sections and get as small as you possibly can. If you're having trouble with one particular measure or one particular lick or one particular chorus or one particular section, focus in on just that one little bit and then add it to the bigger picture. Number 7, cool down. This is another one that tends to get neglected by most wind players, but it's something that is important. We should take care of our faces. Spend about 3 to 5 minutes on either going back to long tones or play something fun, something that you just know how to play easily, that you really enjoy playing. And those are my 7 steps for a good practice routine. That should bring you to a grand total of 30 to 60 minutes of practice time so you can better budget your workout. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me at the email address below. And if you're feeling generous, there are also links to my Patreon and tipped accounts, as well as links for some of my bands for your enjoyment. Also, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel so you know when a new video with more advice is available. Stay tuned.